Welcome again to Let's Get Working. Thank you for joining us on our special edition of How to Get and Keep a Job. Today we'll be talking about cold calling. Martin, what you got for them today?
Well, I'll tell you the first thing is that when you talk to anybody, doesn't matter whether you're talking to people that have a disability or don't, whether you're talking to experienced sales professionals or people just sitting there, when you say cold calling, people do get cold shivers down their back because we're not always comfortable with the idea of going up to a complete stranger and saying anything much to them, let alone, hey, I'm looking for work, have you got a job?
Absolutely.
So scary.
Very scary.
Okay, so we don't want it to be scary. How can we make it less scary?
By having a script.
A script. Now hang about this. I've got some papers here that's got a script on it. Surely if you've got a script, you're going to sound like one of them people that ring me on the weekend from overseas and want to sell me nonsense. Why is a script a good idea?
Because it gives you the language that you need to ask for what you want.
Okay. So, actually, we should probably go back one step.
Okay.
Cold calling can be scary. So what we want to do is get rid of some of that fear. And one of the great ways to do that is to turn a cold call into a warm call.
Okay.
And we can do that by finding out the name of the person we should be talking to. Because I know this, that if I come into you and I say to you, hello Martha, how are you? My name's Martin, pleased to meet you. It's going to be much better than if I go, hello lady, how are you? My name's Martin, pleased to meet you.
Yeah, especially when my name's not Lady.
No. So the name really helps.
Yeah.
So getting someone's name. So on your script here, which I've borrowed, you've made a suggestion for if we were talking to a receptionist.
Yes.
So let's put the steps together. I want to get a job working in a retail store. Okay. It might be, I can't think of a retail store straight away, but let's just say we've got one in mind. We ring them up and we say to the receptionist, and the receptionist is the person that answers the phone, good morning, my name's Martin. I was wanting to talk to the person who's in charge of hiring, please. Could you give me their name?
Yeah.
Okay. Or, good morning, my name's Martin. I was wanting the name of your business's hiring person. Or anything along those lines. Because all we want in this phone call is to know who we're going to talk to next time.
Yeah.
So we just want that name. Oh, and can I have the postal address?
Yes, that's a good idea.
Now, why would we want that?
Because the postal address isn't always the location of the business.
Okay. And if we're going to send a letter or an application to talk about our employment, we're going to need that address too. So we're going to make a few phone calls here and we're going to look for the name of the person that does the hiring and where we would send information to that business.
Yes.
Now, how many people do you think we should try and contact? How many, if we're going to talk to people about employment, do we want one?
No.
Two?
No.
Three?
A bit more than 3.
4?
Say maybe, I don't know, up to 100.
Well, I think, you know what I'd start with? I'd start on one day, I'd start with getting 5 to 10.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's Monday morning, and we spoke in our last show about this is our job. It's Monday morning, we come in and we write down somewhere, I am going to get 5 names today.
Yeah.
5 names, 7, 10. But not less than that, not less than 5.
No.
So we're just going to have to wear the pain and the stress until we've got 5 names. And there'll be people watching this thinking, that's easy. I'll do that in 5 seconds. Well, that's great. But for some, it'll be a real struggle.
I find it really hard.
Pick up a phone and cold call, Peter. Practice beforehand.
Yeah.
Like to role play it. So work out your script. Good morning, my name's Martin. I was wanting the name of your company's HR manager, please. Nice and simple.
Yep.
And just practice it until we get used to the sound of our own voice. Because it might be scary. Then we pick up the phone book, find out where we're going to be calling, ring them up. Again we go, good morning, my name's Martin. I was wanting the name of your company's HR manager, please.
Yeah.
Or could you help me with spelling that, particularly if it's a long or a difficult name? Because there's one thing people don't like. It's you're getting their name wrong.
Okay.
Mine's nice and short and simple.
Yes.
My parents were economising. But some people have really long names and they're fussy about them.
Yep.
You know, their surname's Apopelaphalagophilus and they want you to spell it right. Well, there aren't many in that family.
Also, can I just mention, before you do start ringing, set yourself up. So have your paper and a couple of pens just in case one stops working.
Yep.
And that you're in a comfortable location, that you're sitting down, you're comfortable, but also that you don't have many distractions.
Yeah,
as
absolutely,
well.
absolutely. Because nothing worse.
No.
Because a person can hear
Yeah.
that there's something wrong, or can hear that you're distracted. And I'll tell you another thing that I like to do. I believe that you can hear a smile.
Yes. Yeah.
So that if we practice talking while we're smiling, when people are listening to us on the phone, they're going to hear that smile.
Yeah. True.
So should we give it a try?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna ring you up with a smile.
Can I have a script?
You can have a script. I'm ringing you though.
Okay.
Let me keep the script just in case I get it wrong.
Okay.
Okay. Ring, ring. Good morning, Martha. My name's Martin. I was wanting the name of your company's HR manager, please.
Yes, that does sound happy.
Okay, now I'm going to say it without a smile.
Okay.
Good morning. My name's Martin. I was wanting the name of your company's HR manager, please.
Very different.
There's less smile. It's not bad, but it doesn't sound as and people will respond to you. If you sound scared, they're going to wonder what's going down.
Yeah.
If you sound confident and happy,
Mhm.
they'll immediately warm, or more likely to warm to you and give you what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get this into some sort of order. We've decided what we want to do. We've made a pact with ourselves that we're going to ring 5 or 6 businesses that might suit us as employers, and we're going to get the name of the person that makes the decision about hiring us.
Yes.
We collect our equipment. Let's just go over the gear again. I'm going to make these phone calls. I need a phone.
Yes.
What else?
You need paper.
Paper?
It's good to have a template so you can just fill it in.
Okay.
So,
Now you've got an example of that, haven't you?
yes. Yes.
Are we going to post that?
Yes, we will. So it'll be up on the internet on Let's Get Working. So you can, or actually you can email me and I'll send it to you. Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it will work.
So where's your email address? Is that going to appear on this video?
Yes,
Okay.
it's on the bottom of the screen.
Okay, so people can email you and get any of the material that we talk
Yes,
about in these
that's
videos. Now,
correct.
so far, we've talked about scripts.
Yeah,
And what did you call the other thing? A template?
a template.
What's on the template?
So
Have I got it?
it's on the next name
Yep.
and their phone number
Uh-huh.
and the name of the hiring person
Yep.
and their postal address
Yep.
and whatever you decide to do as a follow-up.
Okay, so I was going to say it's pretty important to make sure you've got something to follow up on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you might forget stuff.
Okay. And also it's important to write the date down too,
What's that?
because you can see what you've accomplished over the next couple of days or weeks or months.
Okay.
And also you can go back and do follow-up calls to see if they've received your resume.
I rang you. Hi, Martha, it's Martin. I rang you on Monday last week. I was going to send my resume through.
Mm.
Is this a good time for us to talk about that?
Yes.
So, okay, so we've got that reference point back there. Okay, good stuff. Now, the other thing, of course, is that we spoke before about how finding a job is now our job.
Yes.
That's what we've got to do. So, your record here just shows how committed you are to that.
Yeah.
So people will come back and they'll go to me, oh, I've tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've got nowhere.
Mm. And also, you don't want to ring a person twice, so
Yeah,
it's
nothing
good
worse.
to have a list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've forgotten them, but they haven't forgotten you.
Yeah, that's right.
Didn't you ring me yesterday? Yeah.
And also you want to use those 5 different targets that we spoke about last time.
Run
or
me
the
through them
time
again.
before. So it was about the 5 different jobs that you'd be happy to apply for.
Yep, I remember now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we don't want to limit ourselves. The idea here is to get working.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, once we've got a job, we might be able to build on that job. It's that first step going from unemployed to worker that's the hard one.
Yeah.
So we're going to get really committed. And we want to be able to look back over a week's work and say, well, I made at least 25 contacts this week.
Yeah.
That's 5 every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a whole heap,
No.
but that's at least.
Yeah.
See, I know from years and years and years of doing this that if I make 100 contacts at the absolute outside, I'm going to have a job.
Sounds good.
So that's 4 weeks at 25 a week.
Yep.
Now I might be able to compress that and do it a bit quicker,
Mhm.
or it might take me a little bit longer. But you don't want to take much longer because that's just 5 people every day.
Yep.
And that's not going to be much more than an hour's work. It'll be about an hour's work.
Yeah. And also,
each day.
for like the first week, you'll be calling and getting the name and then sending your resume.
Yep.
And the next week, you'll be calling new businesses, but also following up on the businesses that you rang the week before to see if they received your resume
Yep.
and what they thought about it.
Yep.
And whether you can get an interview happening.
Yes. Yep. And there's a couple of things there that we're going to need to cover now, whether we do them today or whether we do them another day. And that is, I would never say to someone, "Did you get my resume?"
Okay. What would you say?
Well, there's only 2 answers, isn't there? Let's look at why first of all.
Okay.
So you ask me.
Did you get my resume?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll send it again to you.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a killer, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes. It's a closed question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the problem with it. So
Mhm.
I would always assume that you've got my resume.
Okay.
So Martha, I sent you my resume. Is this a good time to talk about it?
Okay. Yes. That's an open question.
Yeah. Well, not really, because the answer is either going to be yes
Yeah,
or no.
yeah.
But if you say no, I can say, okay, I appreciate I've just jumped on you. When's the best time for me to talk to you?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and that's even better, because if you say 3 o'clock today or 4
Mhm.
o'clock tomorrow, I know that you've given me a kind of a promise that we're
Okay.
going to be able to talk about this together at that time.
So the key is to handwrite the envelope
Absolutely.
and have it addressed to the name of the
It-
hiring person.
Even if your handwriting is not that flash.
Hmm.
Remember, you're not applying for a job as a handwriting consultant.
No.
You're applying for a job as a butcher, baker, or candlestick maker. So
Yeah.
your handwriting's not necessarily. I mean, it may be important for some jobs, but it's not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
important. And that's the letter that will get opened first.
Yep. And
The one
also,
that's got a little
if
bit
you
of
can't
character.
write it, maybe you have a family member or a friend
Oh, absolutely.
that doesn't mind writing them for you.
Well, if your handwriting, let's just say that one of the problems you have to overcome is that you have your handwriting isn't good. It's
Mhm.
just too bad. Get someone else to do it, and then get the person with the best handwriting to do it, because the same thing will happen.
Yeah.
You'll go to the front of the queue.
Mhm.
Martha, though, before we leave cold calling, what about if I think to myself, I can't handle the phone,
Mhm.
I just can't handle it,
Yeah.
but I'll be all right if I just front up.
Okay.
I just go down Queen Street in St Mary's and I knock on doors. That's cold calling, eh?
Yes, it is.
Scary cold calling.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that they're better in person than on the phone.
So can we talk about that?
Yeah. I think it's okay to do that. But you need to set yourself up again for that. So you need to be well groomed.
Well groomed.
Well groomed. So
So I do my hair.
Yep.
Done.
Yep. And also have nice clothes on
Uh-huh.
that fit the business that you want to work at.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So that's important. And
Yeah, because
clean
you don't want to.
shoes.
If you want to work in a motor wreckers, you don't want to go in a suit. Eh?
No.
You'll be down your guy in
They'll
the
look
street
at
with
you
a suit.
funny.
Yeah.
And also you have to have some resumes with you.
Okay. Now we're going to cover resumes next week or the week after.
Yes.
All right. So I can do it though. It is effective.
Yes. And also it can be more effective because that's a first impression and
Yeah,
it's in your face.
So you can make a good first impression, and you never know, but that business hasn't just found a need for a new worker.
Yeah.
Because
Look-
people leave, they get
Yeah.
married, get babies.
I heard a story of a friend of mine who went cold calling, as we're explaining here. She turned up at some place and said, I'm looking for a job. And she was walking home and she didn't even get home before they rang her back and said, we want you for an interview.
Materials that we've talked about, the template,
Yeah.
the scripts. Where do I get those?
So if you want the templates and the scripts, just email me on the email address below.
Yep.
And I'll send them to you.
Excellent.
Yeah.